donated the property of the cemetery to Liberty Baptist Church in the 1840s. Right behind you where you see Edmund Martin, the governor asked him to make shoes for the Confederate soldiers. And behind you, the marker you were just reading, that's a newer marker that her ancestors would put up. But still original here. Her husband actually did not come home from the war, Daniel Wilder, and the people that buried him on their property actually wrote a letter to her explaining to her what happened, and she got the letter several years after the war.
But there's something over here too.
Yep, that's the list of all her children. She had 2 husbands that she outlived, Jesse Niven and Daniel Wilder. And this is actually, she doesn't have, on the Niven, it doesn't have an S, but her children, some of her children have the S. So the Nivens, where you see the Niven and the Nivens, they actually all came from this person. So if somebody says wrong Niven, you can say no. So her son, who is a member of the 29E, is buried over here, and he was wounded in the Battle of Peachtree Creek. And he was laying on the battlefield with a hole in his leg that he actually took a handkerchief and put in the hole in his leg. Do you want to help your daddy give Samuel Lindsay Niven?
Yeah.
So Mayor Earl Niven, his first name is Samuel, and the Samuel came from this guy, Samuel Lindsay Niven.
Are you going to take that one away?
So Tony Niven and with the S and Earl Niven without the S actually both came from
No, you keep that one.
this one. See how he has the S and she doesn't have a...
This is a different flag, right?
Dude, what's this one about from on it?
Oh, where are we? Elmira.
You got dirt in the shoe. I'm going to shoot. Get out.
So Isham Kendrick, this is Isham Kendrick's wife, so he's buried next to her. He is not marked. He was a member of the 31st, and he actually was sent home for liver disease, and he died shortly after they got home, and she was pregnant when he died. And this is one of the widows we did in the big timber operation, the story of the widows, that they used their timber to survive after the war. So her 15-year-old son actually built their house, their log cabin. That's why they called it Kendrick Springs, because he built the log cabin next to springs. And their name was Kendrick, so it got the name K Springs. And that was a big water source for Chelsea, Kendrick Springs was. Why are you? Oh, we have to give her a flag because Isham's over there somewhere next to him. You want to go help your daddy put a flag for Isham Kendrick? Isham was James's older brother.
What's the oldest marker out here?
There's actually some of the Blackerby's from the 1820s.
That's what I was looking at.
Are out here, but their graves aren't marked. Okay, this is John Milton Brazier. He was a member of the 31st, and he was among those that got captured and taken to Rock Island. And his brother, Lewis Turner Brazier, who was named after their ancestor, Lewis Turner from the Revolutionary War that fought at Blackstock. His brother is buried at the Rock Island prison camp. You want to give him a flag?
Yeah.
I'll help your dad do that.
You want to do it? Hold on.
His mother, Nancy Kendrick Brazier, was James's sister. And she's buried at the Abundance of Grace that used to be the old Brazier's Chapel on 43. She's buried up there. She's married to Thomas Brazier. Good job.
There you go.
So yeah.
Be careful because this is where the stones are sticking out because these are the older graves.
Oh,
right
okay.
here.
You have 3 more left. So
These are from the 1840s.
Daddy, you have to find 3 more cool ones.
Ooh.
You have 3 more 5 left.
Yep.
You run out. You probably have
Well,
James got sick at the prison camp, and he came home sick, and he wasn't in very good health. He died right afterwards.
No. No.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
The 31st reenactors actually put this there when we gave our first tour of this cemetery in 2017.
That's disgusting. I don't like the flag. I don't like
Here,
that flag.
we need to take this one out too.
That's just gross.
You want it right here?
Oh, it's just moss.
That's the grossest. I hate that.
So we highlighted Rebecca as one of the widows in the Tale of the Widows.
Yeah.
So the sister-in-laws, Elmira, Isham's widow, and Rebecca, we put them side by side on how one ended up getting out of poverty and the other one
Okay.
did not so much. So the story of the but we got to do one more before we tell the story.
Look.
That one right there, Nancy Chesser behind you. There's another widow whose husband didn't come home.
Yeah, two
Right
more.
here.
Oh, this one?
This is the mother of Lafayette Chesser. He's buried on the other side of the cemetery. And they owned all the land where Chesser Plantation is now. You know, this is Lloyd Chesser's family and
Look, Mommy.
Earl Niven's wife's family and stuff. And one of them actually was born in the Crane home, was one of the Crane children that married Lafayette Chesser's son.
And for those who don't know, the Crane home is where we were earlier. So,
Yeah, and the Crane parents are buried here, and the cemetery ghost is buried here too in the cemetery.
We'll let you know
We
when
got
it's
two
time.
more. We can do this widow and we can do the other widow, right? Since we got some left.
Yeah.
We can do the Susan Jane Tyser Niven Wilder widow.
so what's our story?
Okay. So after the 31st K signed up in April 1862, and they went to Tennessee, and they got a physical at Tennessee before they went to Shiloh. And some of them didn't pass their physical and were sent home. And some of them got scared and just ran away in the woods and were never seen or heard from again. And they went to Vicksburg. They were captured at Vicksburg July 4th, 1863, and they were paroled on July 9th. And then the day they got captured, June 15th, 1864, in Big Shandy, which is now Kennesaw. This is a picture Bill and I took, and this is the picture of what it looked like at the time when Sherman's troops occupied Big Shanty. And the two armies were fighting over the railroad line there, and because it was their supply. And there's Gilgal Church, where we met Chris from taking this video. The trenches of the 31st. It rained for 2 weeks. And the 31st, they dug their trenches with their canteens and their bayonets, and they hung out in these trenches for 2 weeks in the rain, which was a really stupid thing to do because Sherman was still moving. So, right when the sun finally came out, and they're like, hey, that was another stupid thing to do because that's when Polk got killed. There's the Polk monument in the middle of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And then a few hours later, on the early mornings of the 15th, is when the 31st got captured. And this is the map. What's cool is that if you go to Kennesaw, this map is the original map off the Archives website. And along this Lost Mountain, Brushy Mountain line, the Georgia Historical Society, next to the original trenches, put historical markers, putting like everything that happened during that week.
Yeah.
And that is really cool. And me and Bill went from marker to marker to marker, and his daughter, who's from this area, drove us around. So this is the Union officers up here, and this is where the Confederate officers right there. So when they were captured on the 15th, they were taken on the 17th, turned over to the Cumberland Army in the area close to this side, and that's when they started their trip to Illinois, and they had to stop in Tennessee along the way. And this prison camp was awful. They didn't eat the entire time they were there. They were diseased. They were intense, god-awful weather, cold weather, hot weather. They were there for a year. And then after, this is what the prison camp looked like. This is the cemetery from the camp that Lewis Turner Brazier is buried at. Oh, that's another thing. Over there is James Kendrick's mother. Nancy Turner Kendrick, daughter of the Revolutionary War soldier Lewis Turner. He fought in the Battle of Blackstock with General Sumter. So this is the camp that they were at. And then after they were paroled, after the war, they actually had to walk the 800-mile home. Can you believe that? And then some of them didn't make it home. They like died along the way. And this is the cemetery at Pittsburgh, where John Walton is buried, who was the son-in-law of Alfred Musgrove Lester from Lester's Chapel. And this is a another, I can't even remember where this one, that cemetery's at. I don't think I have it in my notes.
Which one are you needing?
Right there. The Holcomb preacher from Liberty Baptist Church, he actually had 3 sons die in the war that are buried at this cemetery. I think it's in Illinois. Henry Holcomb, injured during capture at Big Shanty, Georgia, died of disease in captivity at Camp Douglas. So that's Camp Douglas. That was also where the 31st officers were. And then some of the churches up and around Chelsea, while they were in the prison camp, they made a promise to the Lord, if you get me through this, I'll honor you when I get home. So a lot of the churches that was built up around Chelsea were out of the soldiers who made that promise to get home. And then when they got home, they didn't have anything to come home to. Their livestock had been pilfered. They were, their sons who were 15 years old, had to do the crops that were pilfered. These were not plantationer people. These were backcountry log cabin. They didn't have slaves. They didn't have maids or anything like that. You're talking about, like, one of the original cabins is just up the road here, like a 2-room cabin. They have like 12 children in. So what they did is they took the virgin pine trees that was here and they lived off the lumber. And the tale of 2 widows we gave from Rebecca over here and Elmira over there, said Elmira had a lot of sons. And her daughters married brothers that had a lot of timber. Rebecca had nothing but daughters at home. And so they mortgaged their land to pay for their supplies. And this wasn't a make interest payment type thing you do a loan now. You bring in your crops or you don't.
Yeah.
And so the ones that couldn't, they lost the land that they mortgaged, and then it was auctioned off. That was Rebecca. And Elmira over here, she made money, and she actually bought up more land, including Rebecca's land, which is where Case Springs Church is now. And that's how they move on. You want to give Nancy Chester over here a flag, and we'll do Elmira, one of the widows. Can you imagine not seeing your husband for 3 years?
You got it?
And he doesn't come home with everybody else, and you have no idea what happened to him?
You need me to push it in?
Yeah. I think we did. Yeah, we did. So we got to do Edmund Martin, the one that made the shoes. You want to give him the last one?
Yeah.
Shoes for the Confederate Army. That's another thing. Bill, hold up the binder. If you got any questions about any graves here, we have a biography on every single name.
You had one for everyone in your
Angel?
David Lawrence Brazier and Ida Mae Brazier.
Who's this one?
I don't know. I think he might belong to them because I think those
Yeah.
are his
Yeah.
footstones.
I think these are the footstones, baby. To let you know that that's where the head is
all
and
of
that's where the
these were
feet.
the children of John Milton Brazier. He was a member of the 31st.
And then the guy that made the shoes is up there.
Yep, Edmund Martin.
And we're going to give him the last flag. Because he contributed to the most important part of the soldiers, and that was shoes. If they could get it. Be careful. Be careful, there's holes and stuff. Maybe you'll trip. And then you know what? Then it'll be right here, baby. This guy right here. Let's give him the last. Let's give him the last flag.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I did.
Let's push it down just a little bit more. There we go.
Good job.
There we go.
That's just the flag.
Yep.
You are a good flag girl.
Whoa. Ow. This is a lot of people.
I think I seen one over there too that was part of the North Carolina.
Oh man, you know what? We forgot Jesse Broom Nivens down here, who was a corporal in the 31st. Are we out of flags? He's
Yeah.
down here. He was caught and taken to Big Stick.
Unless if we use one of those widow's flags over there.
Oh man. Are we gonna give him Nancy Checker's flag?
We can.
Jesse Broom Nivens.
We gotta
This
get
is
home.
another son of Susan James Heister Niven Wilder.
Oh, look at that one. This flag's on that one.
Isn't it neat? The flag that, hey, come here. You're gonna help us with something. The flag.
You want
is
to stand
over
next to
there.
the 31st? You want to put this flag in?
Get it? Walk slowly because you'll trip on one of these
Hey,
stones.
I'm gonna let Brett put this one in.
That one
Okay.
is the
For us,
one
for you.
That's on the tall grave. See the
You can put it
flag
down
that's
for
on
the
the tall
corporal.
grave?
tall one right
You
there,
want to go
honey.
get it?
Go grab that
I
one.
feel like I should
Be
put it down for the
careful.
corporal and then do percent arms.
Yeah. You want me to yell it out?
Percent arms, yeah, you can.
And then rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do present arms and then rest.
Okay.
Let me get, I guess we're gonna put the flag in first and then.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to see the story,
I'll-
it's on
I'll let her
YouTube.
put
This
it in.
story's
Okay.
on YouTube.
Here, baby. Here.
This her?
Put it right here in the middle.
Okay.
Hold on, baby.
There you go.
It's going too long.
No, it's good right there, baby. All right. Come right here. Present arms. Rest.
Okay. What are those two people with lambs on?
It's got all
As soon as I can put
This one?
I
Alright.
already read this book.
I want to put a flag on it.
And I'll send you
Guess we're done.
so you can read
I
it.
want to put a flag
It's
on
got
it.
everybody from like every single company.
Sweet.
From like A to K or however far their company went.
Yeah.
Well, that was. Now he's official.
That's
Yeah.
disgusting. Those flags.
I could do a firing salute if I had it.
I wish we could. I don't even know if they would allow it right here.
Yeah, I don't think they would. That's the thing. Because knowing battlefields, they don't allow you shooting blanks or anything on the battlefield unless if it's fully approved by the
Yeah.
program that runs the battlefield keeps it.
Get on the permits.
Yeah.
You want to take my picture with Jay?